Hello and welcome back to Akasha School of Elevation. Now this channel is dedicated to help with the removal of the veil covering this planet, and most importantly, how all of this information directly affects our current situation not only as a country, but also as a planet. Now I would like to start off with a quote. Know thyself, know thy enemy. 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories. If you know neither yourself nor your enemy, you will succumb every battle. This is a quote from a man by the name of Sun Tzu, who was a Chinese military general, military strategist, writer, and philosopher who lived in the Eastern Zhou period of ancient China. This quote is very important because it stresses the importance of knowing thyself. It is crucial as humans that we know our strengths and utilize them, possibly even strengthen them. With the same token, it's equally important that we also learn and understand our weaknesses, or at the least our perceived weaknesses, because sometimes in them can be found a gem beyond our imagining, and we can use them for our own advantage. This quote also stresses the importance of knowing one's enemy. We must first identify who the heck they are. Then we can study, learn, and understand their strengths and weaknesses, because you can best believe that's what they've been doing to us all along. Also, by learning this information, it can help ensure that we're not inadvertently being part of the they that I just mentioned by our actions or lack thereof. So first, let's go ahead and dive into thyself, where we will be looking at our brain and how it works, our minds, and how the two influences human behavior. Next, we're going to be breaking the mind down into two parts, the conscious and the subconscious mind. Think of it as a ninja gatekeeper guarding our priceless treasure. Our conscious mind is alert and protects our subconscious by making the judgment to allow or deny a concept to enter our subconscious mind. Now, I'm not going to lie, some of you all's conscious mind be more like this guy. Or this guy.
I hope you like pain. You okay? Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
Or even this guy. But that's okay, because at least they showed up. But we're going to help you get yourself all the way together. Now, ideas, thoughts, imagination, and creativity are all composed in your conscious mind. Once the conscious mind accepts the information, it's then impressed into your subconscious mind. However, the conscious mind can only handle so much information at once, and this is where the subconscious mind comes in at. See, the subconscious mind can hold and process very large amounts of data that comes in through our senses. It's literally a supercomputer. It's our gold mine. It's our Fort Knox. It's also our garden where our seeds to our reality are planted and grown. It's all up to us what we allow to grow in our lives. We will dive deeper on this subject later in this video. Brainwaves. Brainwaves are electrical impulses in the brain. An individual's behavior, emotions, and thoughts are communicated between neurons within our brains. Our brainwaves occur at various frequencies. We have gamma, beta, alpha, theta, and delta. Each of these frequencies are important. In this video, however, we will be primarily focusing on beta and alpha. Beta waves correlate with our conscious mind, which I like to refer to as the ninja gatekeeper. It's not easily influenced like alpha, and this is because in beta, you're fully awake, alert, and functional. Beta waves are also associated with concentration, active thinking, planning, a heightened state of alertness, logic, and critical reasoning, which are all important for effective functioning throughout the day. Our brain is usually in this frequency when we are spending time with our families, working, driving, or having fun with our friends. Beta frequency can also translate into stress, anxiety, and restlessness also if we stay in it for too long. Nowadays, most adults primarily operate at beta frequency. The next frequency is alpha. And to get to alpha, you must put the conscious mind, aka beta frequency or your ninja gatekeeper, to rest. And this is done by relaxing. As you become more relaxed, your brain waves slow down into an alpha state, which is more focused yet relaxed. Alpha state is a state of receptivity, meaning that it takes in information. Therefore, it's associated with learning, processing, storing, and recalling information. It's easily influenced since it does not engage the logical mind. And you can reach this part of your mind on your own by being deeply relaxed, meditating or daydreaming, or that drowsy period right before you go to sleep and right after you wake up. You know, where you kind of in between the real world and the dream world. That's alpha. It's also the gateway to your subconscious mind and lies at the base of your conscious awareness. Once you get to alpha, you or others can send suggestions into your subconscious mind that can affect your thinking, which in turn can affect your behavior. It's very important to note that watching television also puts you in this frequency, which actually is a light hypnosis. Now, before I go further, while I do think it's important to point out problems that we're facing, it's equally important to me that we discuss solutions to those problems that we face, or at the very least, move towards a solution. I say this because if one is only discussing the problem with no solution, it's only adding to the problem itself. So note in my videos that at the end, I will also have a very important section that discusses solutions to the problems that I bring up, or at the very least, welcome discussions on how we can move towards a solution. Now, getting back to what I was saying, there was an experiment that was done in November of 1969 by a researcher named Herbert Krugman, who later became the manager of public opinion research at General Electric headquarters in Connecticut. He was also the past president of the American Association for Public Opinion Research, of the Division of Consumer Psychology of the American Psychological Association, and of the Market Research Council of New York. I mention all these titles because we're going to be diving into these various titles and what they truly mean a bit later, because these titles are very important. You will also come to notice that oftentimes flowery words or titles are used to cover over not so pretty or clear-cut activities being done behind our backs. Now, getting back to the experiment now. Krugman found that in less than 1 minute of television viewing, the person's brain waves switched from beta waves, or the ninja gatekeeper, to primarily alpha waves, which is the state that is easily influenced. This means that the brainwave state responsible for logical thought and the subconscious mind's protection is turned off during television viewing. So, in layman's terms, that means more than 30 seconds of television viewing makes it possible for us to be subtly influenced to think, believe, or do stuff that we normally wouldn't think, do, or believe. I need you, the viewer, to sit on that for a moment and understand what that means. This means that our subconscious mind is left vulnerable to influencers. Advertisers, news media, the entertainment industry know how to take advantage of this passive, suggestible brain state of the TV viewer. They don't have to use subliminal messages, even though using them can help reinforce their message. But this is because just by being an alpha alone, the brain is already in a receptive state, meaning it's open and ready to absorb suggestions within 30 seconds of viewing the television. You've probably seen this if you've ever been in a room full of people watching television. Everybody's engrossed into whatever's in the screen, and you happen to snap out of it and look around, you can easily tell that they're in a trance. From here, all they have to do is flash a thought form, an idea, or a brand across the screen enough times, and then attempt to make the viewer associate the thought form or product with a strong feeling or emotion. For an example, you see an ad for a juicy strawberry. It shows how much this person is absolutely in blissful satisfaction by eating this strawberry. So basically, what they're doing is displaying a strawberry dipped in emotions and feelings of blissful satisfaction, and it's stored in your subconscious mind. Later, you go to the store and you see a strawberry, and suddenly you feel a hint of that blissful satisfaction and think, hey, I feel like I want some strawberries, so I'm going to go over here and buy it. So it feels as though the thought was your own, but it was actually a suggestion implanted in your brain while in alpha state. And this is where the danger comes in. Remember how I compared the subconscious mind to being like a garden and the conscious mind to being like your ninja gatekeeper? Well, the TV is like a stranger that knocks your ninja gatekeeper out and sneaks into your garden and plants seeds of suggestions that benefits him instead of the garden's owner, which is you. Now, will all the seeds take root? No. But the more seeds planted, the more likely it will eventually take root. Here's a quote by Joyce Nelson in the article The Perfect Machine. And it starts, "The TV world becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The mass mind takes shape. It participates acting according to media-derived impulses and believing them to be their own personal volition, arising out of their own desires and needs. In such situations, whoever controls the screen controls the future, the past, and the present." Now, let's put all this together. So essentially, these people are trying to hijack our technology, which is our subconscious mind, and use it to create a reality that they want, instead of us using it to create our own reality. With this type of hijacking, a person can be influenced to be fearful of certain things, like, for example, let's say an illness or a virus, or a group of people, or influenced into thinking there's a war when there's not, or maybe influenced into thinking that you need something that you probably in normal circumstances would reject. Thanks to television, this type of subtle influencing is possible. Solutions. What are our solutions in this situation? Well, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to eliminate all screen time together, but I am going to suggest being more conscious of how much time you are spending watching television. So as I mentioned earlier, the television is like a stranger planting a seed in your garden. The more times you watch, the more seeds are being thrown into your mind and the greater chance of one of those seeds taking root. Also, be aware of what you're allowing to go into your brain. In fact, there may even be things on the screen that can work for you. You just need to use your discernment in deciding what does and what doesn't. Next, simply being conscious of the techniques that they're using regarding the television viewing and advertising in and of itself can help protect your subconscious mind. Remember the ninja gatekeeper? Being aware of techniques will help train and strengthen our ninja to knock those negative suggestions out before they even get a chance to enter our subconscious. So, they want to use television to manipulate and take advantage of our minds, huh? So how about we take that situation and transmute it by making it work for us instead of against us? How can we do that? Well, by taking control of our own subconscious minds. Our subconscious minds are highly advanced, extremely powerful technology that resides in each of us. Why do you think they spend billions of dollars not only studying but using technology to take control of it? As quoted from one of my favorite books, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, "Infinite riches are all around you if you will open your mental eyes and behold the treasure house of infinity within you. There is a gold mine within you from which you can extract everything you need to live life gloriously, joyously, and abundantly. The subconscious mind can control and run just about everything in our lives. If you haven't been using it, you can best believe somebody's been using it. The alpha state is an optimal time to program the mind for success, and it also heightens your imagination, visualization, memory, learning, and concentration. By making suggestions to your own subconscious, you can take the reins of your own mind and improve your life by changing your thinking in a way that will elevate your consciousness. Now, how do we access it? So one of the easiest times to access alpha is right after you wake up or right before you go to sleep, because your brain is automatically in this frequency at this time. Next, by controlling and slowing down your breath by breathing deep from your diaphragm. After a while, you won't have to control it because the subconscious mind will take over and maintain it without you thinking about it, as long as there's no interruptions or interference. Another technique you can use is by counting down from 10 while imagining relaxing more after each number. Another technique that can be used is the body scan. This is where you focus on one body part at a time and then relax it until you relax your entire body. And by the time you relax your entire body, you should be in alpha. Next, how do we communicate with it once we are able to access it? Well, the subconscious mind has a language of its own. It communicates through images coupled with strong feelings of emotions. Here's a small clip of an interview with a scientist by the name of Greg Braden, who explains the science behind this concept.
This is the place where science got it wrong. There are two places, two assumptions that science has made, modern science. And they're coming full circle and correcting that now. But the first one is that the space that we believe is empty is not really so empty. It's full of a living essence, of a living material that we're only beginning to understand, number one. And number two, the fact, and it is a fact now, that we may have experiences inside of our bodies that influence the world beyond our bodies through the conduit of what's in this space. It brings us back to where we're only now beginning to understand that there is something that we can do in our lives that influence not only the physical body, ours and those of other people around us, but literally influence the physical reality of our world, and that changes everything. It changes everything. So I began to understand when we go into the other cultures, and I'm referring again and again to this wisdom. We had this wisdom in Western cultures, and it was lost in the 4th century. About 1700 years ago, it was edited right out of our most cherished spiritual and religious traditions, the biblical edits of the 4th century. It was not edited from the other cultures that we've visited, and that's the value of going into these cultures. And they identify 3 separate yet related experiences that we all have in our bodies, and they literally call them thought, feeling, and emotion. So when we think about something, we picture it in our mind, that perfect relationship or peace between nations. But we can only invite it into our lives when we breathe the power of emotion into that thought. The emotion comes from the lower 3 of those creative centers in our bodies. So when we breathe the power of emotion into our thought, we imbue that thought with life. And those 2 energies meet in the one center that is not accounted for yet in our model. It's in our heart, or what scientists call the 7-layer liquid crystal oscillator in the center of our chest. But we'll just call it our heart, because that's what it does. Our heart is creating electrical and magnetic waves that are influencing the world around us based on what we think and the emotion that we breathe into those thoughts to create the feeling. In 1998, I had my first journey into the highlands of central China and Tibet. And it was during that time we were given a personal audience with an abbot. And I asked him a question. I said, when we see your prayers on the outside, and we see you in the chanting hall for 12, 16, 18 hours a day, and we see the bells and the bowls and the mudras and the mantras and the gongs and the chimes and the incense, when we see your prayers on the outside, I said, what are you doing on the inside? And this was the man that looked at me. He said, you've never seen our prayers, because a prayer cannot be seen. He said, what you see are the things we do to create the feeling in our body, and the feeling is the prayer. But the ancients made a distinction between thoughts and feelings and emotions. And it's the feelings that are centered in our heart, what are called coherent, heart-based emotions. We know that when we feel a feeling of love, compassion, understanding, forgiveness, when we change the self-esteem, that there's an effect from that it changes the electrical and the magnetic fields in our heart, and that those fields literally change the stuff that our world is made of around our bodies. Our hearts are the strongest magnetic field in our bodies, and our hearts are the strongest electrical field in our bodies, much more so than the brain. While the brain does create those kinds of fields, the heart is many times stronger. And what the science now is showing is that when you can change the field that the atom is in, you change the atom, and we're made of those atoms. So when we have feelings in our hearts, we're changing the field that connects the stuff everything is made of, and we literally are altering our physical reality. And it's those feelings that they live throughout the day. It's not something you sit down and do for a minute and then you get up and walk away. Rather, it's something that we become. We live our lives as if these experiences have already happened, and in that way we invite them into our lives, and they happen frighteningly quickly for some people.
This calls for us to be more mindful about the thoughts and feelings we entertain on a daily basis. Counter negative thoughts by immediately countering it with a positive emotion so that it can be neutralized. It takes practice, and it's definitely doable if you truly want it. Remember, you have amazing abilities that can be utilized to change your life for the better. Please like this video if this is something that resonates with you, and share with others who may be interested so that we can spread the word. And subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep up with my videos. I've listed other places where I'll be posting my videos just in case we run into issues here on YouTube. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.